Welcome to you. First of all, whenever you're playing with a piano, you want to tune your violin to what's called tighter fifths. So if you don't have a tuner with you, it's okay. Just tune your A to the piano, and then when you go to tune your D, I'll show you. When you go to tune your D, you come up above the pitch. So here's my A. Perfect. My D happens to be perfectly in tune, but I'm at the pianist's house, so we're going to rehearse. So I'm going to tune above, and then I'm going to tune down to the D. And I'm going to stop at the first possible fifth that I come to that's acceptable. And what that probably means is I'm going to be maybe one vibration higher, which is good. That will make my fifth just a little bit smaller than normal. And then I'll do the same from the D string. I'll tune to the G. See, now my G sounds out of tune. I'm going to go above till I know that I'm sharp, and then I'm going to come down slowly. It's a little sharp. I'm going to leave it there because of all of your strings that need to be tuned higher. The G string does, or it will sound flat when you're playing with a pianist. Okay, so you can hear my G and D going a little bit. Wah, wah, wah. But they're not going ga 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 ga. They're not clattering against each other. They're just barely bouncing against each other, and that's okay. All right. So if you don't have your tuner convenient with you, or you don't remember what I'm going to tell you next, that's what you're going to do. With your E, you're going to tune flat, and then you're going to go up to your pitch. That's where I want it. So I'm going to come down just a tiny, tiny bit. And you know what? I don't even like to do that because it's too important for other reasons to have an absolutely perfect fifth between your A string and your E string. That's where you play a lot of double stops. That's where you play a lot of your melodies. I tune to a perfect fifth on my A and my E. All right, that's what's meant by tuning to tight fifths. So to review, when you're playing with a piano, tune to tight fifths, and especially tune your G a little bit sharp. Whenever you're playing with other players, period, this is a good idea to tune this way, but especially when you're playing with fixed pitch instruments. It's not such a big deal if you're playing with other fretless stringed instruments. That's no problem. You can all play in perfect, just pure intonation then, and it's a wonderful thing, but we don't get that opportunity that often. This website that I told you about at the beginning of this video, belakeys.com, is a really, really good website. Lots of great information about practicing and the best resource for understanding the different systems of intonation. This violinist, Bela Keys, made the suggestion of how to tune your violin using a tuner in a really scientific way, so that you don't have to guess with what a small fifth is. Let me show you what she's telling you to do. First, Bela Keys suggests that we tune our A string to a calibration of A441. That's odd, we've always tuned to A440. This is part of the compromise. So our A string is going to be just a little bit sharp, one little cent sharp, okay? So You need to have you need to have a tuner that can be calibrated, and don't worry, don't let that scare you. Virtually every chromatic electronic tuner can be calibrated. You just get to choose whether it should give you feedback for A440, A441, A442, even A439. You can go even flat. It gives you a choice, and it'll play pitches calibrated for those selections, or it'll give you the feedback with the needle. Okay, we're gonna watch the feedback with the needle so you can clearly see the light. On this little tuner, the calibration shows right there. It says 440, A440, okay? So we're supposed to tune our A to A441. So this little calibration button right here, I'm gonna press it once, and now that says 441. You see that? Put my glasses on. 441. And we need to make our A string get the green light with A441. Here we go. See how it's a little flat? It's because I tuned to A440. So we just need to tune a little bit up. Okay, now we're at a good healthy 441. Then she says to tune your D string also to a calibration of A441. So I don't need to move the tuner, I just need to tune my D, and it's gonna be a little sharp, I think. Oh, it's already at A441 because we tuned to tight fifths, so it's already up high. So you see how this all agrees? It's all giving us the same answers. Okay, then she says tune the G string to A440. That's a little bit weird, but we're gonna follow her instructions. So we'll tune to A440. Okay, and then she says to tune our E string to a 442. Okay, so we need to change our calibration so that says 442. And tune our E string. Okay, let's hear what our fifths sound like tuned to this Bela Keys method. Okay, here's my A441. That should be an exactly perfect fifth, but it's not quite perfect. My experienced ears can hear a little bit of a warble. That's because we tuned the strings individually to a tuner. We didn't tune to our perfect fifths using audible feedback. So it's not quite perfect, but it sounds darn good. D and G. It's perfect. How'd that happen? It's a perfect fifth. A and E. That sounds absolutely fine to me. So if my ears can't detect the discrepancy, it's a great compromise, because what Bela Keys is saying is that tuning your strings in this way allows you to have the best of both worlds. You can maintain your training that you've acquired with practicing with a tonic drone using just and pure intonation. But by tuning your strings this way, you will also be able to play relatively in tune with fixed pitch instruments that are tuned to equal temperament with minimal disruption and without having to make huge adjustments. So this is a lifesaver because I've asked you to practice to a tonic drone for 5 minutes every day and painstakingly learn those spacings between those notes to get a perfect tuned interval to your tonic pitch. That's pure intonation. Practice it with your strings tuned in this way, and I think you'll get the best of both worlds, where you'll also be preparing for wonderful intonation even in the world of equal temperament. You'll have minimal disruption. I would say when you are playing with a piano, I wouldn't tune your G string to A440. I'd tune your G string to an A442 or 43. I'd make it nice and sharp. And your ear will tell you how far you need to tune it sharp, or maybe ask your pianist. All right. And you know what? We are splitting hairs here, talking about one vibration out of 440. If you are coming that close with your fingers to the right note, I say A+ for you, great job. So let's not get bogged down too much by these details. It's kind of fun to know what all these tuning systems are and to be able to take part in conversations about them. Please don't let yourself get bogged down by these details. Keep practicing to your tonic drone. Experiment with tuning your strings in this Bela keys way, and do your best. And if you're coming within 3 cents of any of your pitches on a violin, you're doing a great job. All right, that's it for this lesson. Thank you for sticking with me clear to the end. This was a long, tedious, and technical discussion, and the fact that you stuck with it clear to the end says good things about you as a violin student. All right, I'll see you in lesson 2.